Welcome back to another episode of Highly Anticipated Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Josh Raphael, and I got with me today our co-host, as always, Will Young.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, we got to
Live.
talk about this past weekend in the NFL, bro. I think a lot of bets were lost, a
Yep.
lot of predictions were wrong, because some of the stuff that was happening, not even just this week, but the
Yeah.
week before, has to honestly be some of the best playoff football that we've seen in a long time. You know,
Possibly ever. Ever.
game winning field goals to
Hmm.
late drives. It was just phenomenal on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
But the first game I want to talk about is the Chiefs versus the Bengals. And I want to ask you, Will, did the Chiefs lose that game or did the Bengals win it? And when I say that, I mean like, did the Chiefs basically give the Bengals that game, or did the Bengals really just flat out were the better team?
I'm gonna say it's a little bit of both. The second half, first off, I don't think anybody could have seen that coming. The Bengals coming back down 21-3,
No, not at
especially
all.
in Arrowhead. There's no way anybody could have seen that. But it was clear that the Bengals made a defensive adjustment going into that second half. You could tell it wasn't as easy. Um, Chiefs just weren't running their offense as smoothly, getting anything they wanted. You could definitely tell. And then on top of that, you know, Joe Burrow just playing just out of his mind, basically. Um, but then with that I mean that fourth quarter, it's almost weird, bro. Like that fourth quarter was so out of
Yeah.
character for Pat Mahomes. It was like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, even right before halftime, that play call to throw that little pass to Tyreek Hill right on the goal line. I mean, that wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
And then Pat Mahomes just running around in circles towards the end of the game. That last interception, throwing in the double coverage. Like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what Pat Mahomes this is. Somebody took his powers at half, but that boy was doing stuff that I was like, yo, bro, like just throw the like he almost cost him the game before the field goal because he ran back 25 yards
Yeah.
and fumbled that joint. Like, what are you doing? Throw the ball away. Like, bro really thought he was on Madden. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. So I say it's a little bit of both, honestly. I don't think Bengals are a great team. Don't get me wrong. Do I think they were the better team that day, like overall? I would say no. I think they were the better second half team.
Yeah.
And I would probably say that the Chiefs more so gave them that game. I mean, no matter how good a team is, the Bengals aren't that good where they should be able to come down 21-3 with no unanswered points
Yeah. No,
since.
I agree with you. I believe the Bengals are a great team, obviously. Like you said, I do believe it's a little bit of both. Because being up 21-3, the Chiefs were in control of that whole game
Yeah.
from the first snap to literally the end of the half, besides that little miscue play call that they had. I think personally they should have either just took their three,
Yeah.
or if just get rid of the ball quick enough, but not something where it's not gonna go anywhere.
Risky.
But
Yeah.
I think, like you said, I think it's a little bit of both. The Chiefs came out to play, and the Bengals responded. The Bengals made Mahomes look like how he looked like the first 4 weeks in that
Mhm.
second half. That's how they played him. All
Yep.
that running around.
Trying to make superstar
Yo,
plays.
that is literally the Mahomes. I remember we were talking about in the first 4 weeks, like how that was not going to work.
Yeah.
And then eventually he started calming down a little more, and he started, playing traditional football. You know what I mean? And you could see
Yeah.
they went on a little bit of a streak. But the Bengals, they brought the Chiefs back down to earth. The Chiefs were on planet. on planet Mars, on wherever they were playing. They were
Had to
playing
be.
out of their mind. But the Bengals came back and, they got punched in the mouth, but they punched them right back.
Yeah,
And
kudos
a
to
lot
them.
of people may not. I believe that play at the end of the half really was the biggest
Yeah.
play of the game. Believe it or not, because the Chiefs get three, or if the Chiefs get a field goal, get a touchdown, going into that half, the Bengals are going to be a little bit more tense.
Like,
But
bro.
now getting that stop at the goal line, that lit the fire under the Bengals that they needed to come
Yep.
back in that game. Like you said, I believe the Bengals are a good team, but I don't believe they are good enough against a team like the Chiefs to come back from 21-3
On the road?
on
No.
the road
No.
without
No.
it having to do with some of the Chiefs' questionable decisions. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So the Bengals, kudos to them. It's honestly unbelievable. But we've talked about this though before. We've talked about how we thought the Bengals were going to be a dynasty to come, or they're going to be a
Mm,
Super Bowl team in the coming years. I'm
not
not going to
now.
sit here and
I
lie to
couldn't have
you.
seen that now.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm not going to jump on no bandwagon. I did not see the Bengals making the Super Bowl this year. I didn't see it, and that is honestly just a testament not only to how great that team is,
Mm.
but Joe Burrow is the
Yo,
absolute
Shiesty.
he's Joe Burr. He is the
Joe Burr.
absolute truth.
Yo,
Coming out of
that man is
LSU,
crazy.
he was a winner. Came to Cincinnati, a winner. And that I don't believe is going to change because they have a very young core. And it's
Mm.
crazy. No disrespect to the O line, not trying to disrespect them, but their O line is not very good.
Oh, it's mid
It is literally
at
mid
best.
at best.
At best.
The Bengals offensive line is mid at best. And to see Joe Burrow still manage to carry this team and bring them to the Super
And the
Bowl,
poise that he has is
it's
it's
remarkable.
ridiculous.
He
It's
had some
so
very big third down runs in that game
Yep.
where I believe on that final drive where they got the touchdown, he had some very big third down conversions.
Yep.
So Joe Burrow's the truth. Don't get me
Now
wrong.
listen, now
He's
listen. I got a question.
yeah.
So let's say hypothetically. Now I'm not trying to jump on no bandwagon none too early. But hypothetically, the Bengals win the Super Bowl, which very well could happen. We'll get into that later. I don't think so, but very well could happen. Say they win a Super Bowl. Between college and the NFL, would it be too early to say that Joe Burrow was maybe one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time?
Of all time in terms of like
Between college and NFL, would it be too early?
I think it'll be a little early. I think he would need just a little more time. But it's hard
It will be.
because
I
I
would
feel
say
like
it's close.
they gave like Mahomes is low key been in this conversation, and if you look at it, if Joe Burrow does win a Super Bowl, all he's really gonna be missing from his resume is that MVP.
That bro, he would already be the first NFL,
You know,
quarterback to win the Heisman, win a national
yeah.
championship,
So
and win a
I
Super
see
Bowl.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Like
And to do that in 3 years, bro.
yeah, that would be, it would be an incredible feat. I think it would help his conversation. But like you said, between college, if we're not just talking about just the NFL in particular, but
Yeah,
college
I'm talking about just
and the
both.
NFL, then yeah, I see what you're saying. Because for some reason, when it comes to being a number one pick for a quarterback, a lot of those quarterbacks don't tend to have this hot of a start.
Mm,
So for Joe Burrow literally to come from being a Heisman to last year, he probably was going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year if he didn't tear his ACL.
yep.
And to be able to come this year and, if he possibly wins a Super Bowl, yeah, I believe between
And
college
to
and the
knock off
NFL,
Mahomes,
and he had one of the best statistical careers in college. Literally, I think his final year, if I'm not mistaken, I literally was looking at stats the other day. He threw for 60 touchdowns and had 6 picks.
yep.
Those are video game numbers. Against Oklahoma in the semis, I think he had like 7, 8 touchdowns. Like that's
That's
video game numbers. You know what I mean?
really ridiculous.
But No, that's not far off. Between college and the NFL, Joe Burrow could very much be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in that department. Now, just for
Yeah.
our viewers, we're not sitting here saying like
Not for the NFL. We're
just
not saying,
NFL. We're saying
whoa,
between
you
college
Tom
and the NFL,
Brady.
if
Like,
Joe Burrow
relax,
wins the Super Bowl, he
relax.
will be in that conversation. You know, so because Mahomes, he had a good college career, but he was never a Heisman. You know, he never was on that. He wasn't on Joe Burrow's level in
He
college.
wasn't, but
He just wasn't. Like we're
He
just
had a
being real.
great first couple of years, and then everybody was like, "Oh, Mahomes." I mean, how long has Mahomes been in the league? Like what?
Could be 3-4 years.
I want to say 3-4 years.
Yeah.
He's already on Stephen A's. He's already number 5 as his top quarterbacks, or number 4 on his top quarterbacks of all time.
Yep.
I mean,
all Joe Burrow would be missing was that MVP, literally, and I would not be surprised if he got it next year.
I wouldn't either.
Surprised.
Shoot,
Wouldn't be surprised, honestly. But obviously, you know, the Bengals, great, and now we're gonna kind of move on to the next game, the Rams
my
and the
dog.
49ers. I mean, if I'm being honest, I picked the Rams. I'm pretty sure we both had the Rams winning that game. I didn't personally think it was going to be that close. I'm a little bit surprised of how close it was, but
I definitely didn't.
I felt like the Rams were going to pull through. And another thing that I want to say, this is for all of the Matthew Stafford haters out there.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford has been the truth. He was just in Detroit.
Been the truth.
Matthew Stafford was always one of the better quarterbacks in the league. He was just in Detroit. So now you put Matthew Stafford on a good team, his first year with that team, and you see that team's going to go to the Super Bowl. You know? So I do think Matthew Stafford is, you know, it does bring the question. If Matthew Stafford, if the Rams and Matthew Stafford win the Super Bowl, is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Fame quarterback?
100% yes. 100% yes. 100% yes. When he was in Detroit, he was I tell people all the time, because people are like, Lions, da. I'm a Lions fan. When he was in Detroit, he was a tier 1 quarterback while he was there. And putting up.
It did help to have Megatron, though.
It helped, yes.
That helped a lot, though.
Don't get me wrong. That definitely helped.
Yeah.
That definitely helped. But the consistency of him putting up 4,000 plus yards year after year after year, with no O-line, it's not like he had like an arsenal weapon of receivers. Once before Megatron, it was nothing. When he had Megatron, yes, he had somebody who he could just throw it up to. But after that, when he had Kenny, Marvin Jones, those are all just solid receivers. Don't get me wrong, but it's nothing crazy. And for him to keep putting up those numbers, and what people don't understand is he did all of that under so much pressure, because the Lions were not a good team and we had no run game. So defenses knew that Matthew Stafford was going to sling that thing every game. They knew he had to, because it's not like they're going to run it.
Yeah.
So now you have defenses developing a scheme to shut down Matthew Stafford, because they're like, well, we just going to play the pass because they're not going to run it.
Yeah.
And for him to still put up those numbers,
it's honestly, it's insane. No, Matthew Stafford has always been the truth. You know, that's just a fact of the matter. And
that's what I'm saying.
I think he really did help, elevate that Rams team. Cooper Kupp was always a great receiver. He was not great. He was a good receiver, especially having Jared Goff throw at him. He was a good receiver. So then he gets Matthew Stafford, and then he goes out there and has arguably one of the best statistical seasons for a receiver in NFL history.
Yep.
And another thing I do want to say, now since we're on the Cooper Kupp topic, and I don't want to I don't know how to say this, but why do you think people still question how great of a receiver Cooper Kupp is? Because it's not like if Devontae Adams or like Julio Jones was
Mm,
out there having, a season like that, people would automatically be like, great, best receiver in the league, like after the seasons Cooper Cup just had, wouldn't that make him at least a top 2, top 3 receiver in the league
yeah,
right now? But
100%.
people still, for some reason,
Yeah,
they don't say he's the best receiver,
like
and
D Hop.
I'm just confused as to like why is that?
I think I probably just say based on just like how he looked first off.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I would go with. That's
people like
that's the best way to say it.
bro, like everybody know like and just like his persona, like everybody know D Hop, he's a dog. Like he
Yeah,
ain't taking no mess, he ain't going like
yeah.
that, whatever. Like they know that. So you get that respect for him. Same with Devontae, same with dudes like Justin Jefferson,
Or even when
like
OBJ was at the top of his game, people were
OBJ,
saying,
like them boys going off, like they doing dances in the end zone. Cooper Cup, who burn somebody on a route, get to the end zone, he threw that jump to the ref.
yes.
Like that's just so
And
it's
I
like,
don't,
oh
and all the
shoot.
receivers, no knock on Devontae Adams, no knock on D Hop. They
Mm-hmm.
are great receivers, and like I said, they're top 5 receivers in the league. But if I'm not mistaken, in terms of every single category, they did not have like such a well-rounded season
Yeah.
like Cooper Cup did. What Cooper Cup did, literally, I don't believe not many people did, or if anyone did that before. So I mean, right now, if we're going off, not trying to be our recency bias, but that's basically what people
I
live off
mean,
of. Devontae.
you basically have to. He was first in
Yeah, so
receptions with
that would
7
mean
touchdowns.
that Cooper Cup is the best receiver in the league right now.
He
But
would
why
have to be.
don't? But why? But like you said, I think it's because how
It
he
is.
looks. People don't want to say Cooper Cup is. But I think that's not how
Yeah,
it should be.
if
It should
Cooper was
just be
doing the gritty, if Cooper's doing the gritty after busting off a 70-yard tutty,
literally,
they'd be like, yeah, that boy
literally.
nice.
I bet you. I bet you
They'd
they
be
would
like,
say,
he
yeah,
like
he's the
that,
best receiver in the league for sure. It shouldn't be like that though, unfortunately. But Cooper Cup, great.
Shout out to
But
Cooper, man. That
kind
boy
of,
went to. I didn't even know he went to Eastern Washington.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. There was a story about his girl had to was working to pay for it.
yo, she a real one.
That's a real one right there. That's
Shoot.
a real one right there. Cooper
Shout out to
Cup
all.
he over
Hey,
there. She supported his NFL dreams before he even made it to the league, and he was at Eastern Washington. I don't even know where that is for real. No disrespect. I
now
don't
that
even know
boy
where that
finna get
is.
paid. Now that boy getting paid.
Yeah, nah. But to kind of
Mm.
go into the game more,
Can we just
how
address the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is not good? Can we just say that? Can we start there?
actually, yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's
Let's
just
talk about that. No,
let's
let's talk
just
about.
let's just address that the elephant in the room.
So
He's not good.
going forward, do you believe that the 49ers should go ahead and plan their future with Trey Lance or stick to Jimmy? Because here's where I feel like it gets a mix up, because I mean, from the outside looking in, obviously, I watch and I believe Trey Lance is a better quarterback. But from the outside looking in, you're like, I mean, he brought him to the conference championship, how can we not start him again? You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're on the Trey Lance train.
Yeah.
So, why do you believe that the 49ers should start Trey Lance
Why?
next year, despite what Jimmy did this year?
I think it was, I want to say it was Dan Orlovsky who said this, but I think he said that the 49ers don't win games because of Jimmy G. They win games despite of him. And I think that basically just sums it up. Like, bro, Garoppolo,
Grappler.
whatever, whatever the heck that boy name is.
Jumanji.
Like, bro, they win games. When the games he win, he's a great game manager. That's all I see him as.
Mac
He's not
Jones.
making special plays out of this world. He's a game manager. And you could see that. You could see that in the game. Like, their defense is carrying him. He's making decent plays. He'll throw like you clearly he's not throwing downfield like that. and then he'll look and then mess around, and Elijah Mitchell will be just wide open, sitting in a flat somewhere, and then they'll get like a 25-yard gain or something like that.
Yeah.
But you could see how tight he got at the end of that Rams game, because he just can't make plays like that. He just can't. And I think that's why they just need to go ahead, give Trey Lance that opportunity. And I don't think he's bad. I mean, when they were utilizing him, even the little bit that they were in the beginning of the season, it wasn't like he was bad. You know, in fact, the flashes I seen, I would have almost said he looked better than Justin Fields from the, from just what I
Justin
saw.
Fields got a lot more burn. He had a lot more opportunities to show he really could do.
Yeah, but Justin Fields, he didn't look so good this year. But yeah, I mean, I think it's time to just pass that torch, unless you just want to keep getting to that spot. And then if he's not going to get you over the hump, it's no point. You might as well just develop this new QB, who I think Kyle Shanahan can do a lot of things within the offense with him in there. I think they could have even more of a dynamic offense. You know, they already run stuff for Debo, and then with Elijah Mitchell, and then having him red zone, things like that. Just Trey Lance's ability, his speed to run the ball. I think they could do a lot of things with him. So I think it's time, and they may not have too much success, and it may hurt them in the beginning just because it's like, but it's no point. I mean, they're just gonna keep getting to the same, having a decent season, and then coming up short. That's all I see. Like that's their shit. With Jimmy right now, I see exactly what happened this year happening again. That's just their ceiling, and I don't even think they would make it this far next year. Truthfully.
No, I agree with you in terms of should the 49ers move forward with Jimmy or Trey Lance. I do believe Trey Lance is the answer, only because not saying Jimmy Garoppolo is bad, but I feel like their ceiling may be a little bit higher with Trey. Granted, we haven't got a big sampling of Trey Lance yet, but just from what I know he can do, he can throw, he can use his legs. I believe it gives them a whole different dynamic. I mean, their whole offense is already a whole different dynamic. You have your wide receiver running as your running back. You know what I mean? So I believe that will bring a whole different dynamic to their team. You'll be having Debo in the backfield. You could do read options where you can actually run with your quarterback. Like that would make that team.
Though a couple of Heisman formations in there, like
saying.
the Ravens. Like there's a lot of things they could do.
That would take that team to a different level because their defense is always going to be good. That's their defense. And like you said, Jimmy is just a game manager. He's like Mac Jones to me. So, having Trey Lance, that would just, I believe Trey Lance will be able to do what Jimmy is doing, game manage, and then
just game manage.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
So it's just, and it's crazy because Jimmy still turns the ball over at a clip, even when he game manages. So it's like, okay, I mean, you're just supposed to not be getting the ball in harm's way. Just, get us a couple field goals. If you can get a touchdown, I get a touchdown, and then our defense will hold up. So I do believe they should move forward with Trey Lance. I am, like I said, surprised of, kind of how close the game was. But for me, I just think that just comes with experience. Matthew Stafford's never been in a game of that caliber. And a lot of the guys haven't. OBJ, that's his first time. Cooper Kupp's been to the Super Bowl before with Jared Goff. Yeah. So I just feel like, a lot of time it just comes to experience. But obviously, the best team's going to pull out when it matters. And the Rams did that. So then that sets up a Rams-Bengals matchup. And my prediction right now, Rams-Bengals, it's crazy because part of me feels like the Bengals can very much win that game with the way that they're playing and the confidence that they play with. I can see it. But I do believe the Rams, because they both aren't really experienced in certain aspects, at least when it comes to the head of your team in terms of quarterbacks. I believe their experience they both lack that. They haven't been there. But if you look at the overall team, the Rams are a more experienced team. You got guys like Von Miller. You got guys like Aaron Donald. You got guys like I said, Cooper Kupp. So you got guys that that have been there. They know that they've been there. Even OBJ has played in a couple playoff games or one or two, whatever he did. So even though he choked in them, but he
Yeah.
played in playoff games. So I believe experience is going to be the winner in this situation.
It
Um,
is. It's gonna be tough though. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, me, of course, I'm rooting for my boy Matt. You know, I think I think they're just gonna get it. On top of that, I don't think the Bengals offensive line is gonna be up to withstand.
I
Not,
mean,
I
yeah,
mean, even if
no,
it's
let's be
early,
real. Let's be
yeah,
real. They
yeah, I
have
don't.
Aaron Donald and Von Miller. They are going to tear that
They're going
offensive
to tear
line
that. Yeah,
up.
through 4 quarters, it's no way.
I'm sorry, no, like the
It's not
Bengals
happening.
offensive line. Not trying to come for you guys, but being real, if we're looking at stats, looking at film, if the Titans O line, if the Titans defensive line was giving them
Was
problems,
busting through there.
the Rams.
Yeah,
Oh, I mean, what you're gonna double team Aaron Donald and leave Von Miller 1-on-1? You double like it's just not gonna work.
it's
And
not
then
gonna
on
be good.
top of it, it's not like I mean the Rams corners. I mean, you have arguably the best corner in the league. He's gonna be on
Hey,
Jamar Chase.
that Jamar Jalen matchup,
It's gonna be something. And then they
woo,
have Williams on the other side. They have a very good team,
it's gonna be
especially
crazy.
defensively. So as a quarterback, I mean, you're going to be getting pressure, and then none of your it's going to be hard for your receivers to get open. So that's a recipe for disaster. Um, I don't believe it's going to be a blowout, but the Rams will come out on top. That is my
I
prediction.
think so too. I got Rams.
Nah, because
It's
I
gonna be
mean,
tough though. I mean,
think
seriously
about it.
though.
I mean, to me, the 49ers beat my Super Bowl favorites. I thought the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl if I'm being real with you. They beat them. So, and then the Rams beat them. So, I mean, but I think it's going to be a pretty good Super Bowl matchup.
Mm.
Um, both teams earned it. Both teams. I mean, this is honestly the best Super Bowl anyone could have asked for in terms of because I
Nigga,
feel
it's
like
about
part of
time we saw some two different
yeah.
teams.
So
Yeah, we didn't
I
want to
mean, we
see the
love
use.
Brady and all, but I don't think America did not want to see Brady in there again.
Not again.
And
We good.
it's just new life. You got the Bengals and like I like Mahomes and the Chiefs too, but I don't believe people want to see the Chiefs there. So like you said,
Nah.
I believe it's good that there's new teams there where
Mm.
it's like this is the first Super Bowl I'm really going into where I'm really like honestly anything could like I really don't know. I genuinely do not know.
Nah,
Like it's either I'm gonna
this
be completely right or completely wrong with the decision. But this year, I generally don't know. Like I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm going with the Rams.
Bengals got nothing to lose.
That's
Nothing
what
to
I'm
lose.
saying. And a
Shoot.
team that has nothing to, they're just happy to be there.
Literally nothing, bro.
That's the thing. They didn't even. They're just happy to be there. That's the scariest part. They're just happy to be there. The Rams have been low key Super Bowl favorites for a little bit. Like I remember there's some people that were saying like, "Oh, they got." The Bengals were never considered for that.
But
So this,
I think that's the thing. I think that's the scary part about the Bengals is that from the outside looking in, we're like, man, they just happy to be there. But they're so confident, bro. Like
literally,
they're so cocky right
Joe
now
Burrow probably
that
told
it's
them
like
boys in the beginning of the year we going to the Super Bowl.
they feel like they should be there. Like
Yep.
they deserve this boy. They got the kicker coming up talking about some. Well, boys, guess we going to the AFC Championship. Like what?
Is he not like a rookie? Pretty sure he's a rookie.
He is a
Pretty sure he's a
rookie.
rookie.
Like, bro, what? Like,
That's just confidence. That's straight confidence. They're oozing confidence. The
it's
Bengals arguably are one of the most confident teams
and that's
I've ever seen. And you know who they remind me of? Like from the NBA? The Bengals
no,
remind me of the Grizzlies. Young guys that are
that's
just
facts,
confident, don't care, and they're gonna go out and
bro.
get
That's
and just do their thing.
them.
Now,
And I compared them earlier. On one of our episodes to the Hawks from last year.
yeah. Yeah,
Like, bro,
I believe
like
it. It's just they have a little bit more of the Grizzlies attitude in terms of,
that's
i.e.,
facts.
like Ja Morant. Like, yo, I'm
Yeah,
like that. I'm not gonna lie, none of y'all messing with me. Like, and
boy
that's how I see
posting,
it. Like, it's
boy
just
posting yes indeed bars on his IG. Like,
don't care. He doesn't
bro,
care.
like that.
They don't care. But kind of to tail off, kind of the end our NFL discussion for a little bit before we kind of go to the NBA. Tom Brady, retiring. And that was,
Tier.
I'm not gonna lie,
Tier.
it's crazy though. He's had a great career. You know, a
Yes,
career
indeed.
that's honestly, I mean, it's beyond Hall of Fame. Like it's everything. Go like whatever conversation you want to have, whatever he is, Tom Brady is all of it. So that makes me kind of ask this question because I've seen a lot of people were wondering about this. With Tom Brady retiring, there's goats in every sport. And I feel like this is a hard question to ask because everyone's a goat in their regard from,
Mm.
track, basketball, football. But who is the greatest athlete of all time in your opinion? Like this is I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about track. I'm talking about basketball. I'm talking about hockey. Everything in your eyes, from not just championships, but individual accolades. Everything. Who is the greatest player in your eyes of all time? Athlete, anything.
Greatest athlete.
Yeah.
Besides Kevin? Shoot. What did I say? Oh, sorry. Did I say something?
Let's
My
do some
fault.
besides Kevin, guys.
Um, I mean,
Someone send a drug test his way, please.
I'm,
ASAP.
I
Need to
just
pee in a
gotta go
bottle.
based off what I seen. I know some people want to say like Bill Russell just because of like he didn't won what like 11, 12
But think about
championships
individual accolades too.
back in the day. Right. People might say Kareem
No
because like
disrespect to the older athletes, the older
yeah. But
generation, but
I ain't
I
see
feel like
Bill
they're
like that.
playing
So
plumbers.
I'm not gonna do that.
They're playing plumbers. I seen a video of Michael Jordan. He literally had the ball, like he palmed the ball, and he just kept doing this. And for some reason, the defender just kept jumping. Like and all Michael was standing, just kept doing this, and he kept moving. Like he just kept jumping. And I sat there and I said, like Michael Jordan's a
Yeah,
great player, and
yeah.
honestly, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is this, guys?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
dude's got to go
bit
against John Moran every night. You think John Moran?
like John, bro.
Probably would have faded you if
Josh
he was doing that to him.
Josh putting 80 on there, bro.
Literally.
Catching bodies every
But
play.
nah. So who you going
Greatest
with?
great. I mean, from what I've seen, I probably would have to go Tom.
Tom Brady,
Just because the like for him to defy
the longevity.
the, the odds, the longevity, being drafted low, coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, he got his 7 rings. Like, yeah, I mean, he's just unbelievable, bro. Like to come in with no expectations because nobody expects you to do that
Yeah.
great. To do that, be great, finally reach a pinnacle, and then it's like so many. There were so many years before he won last year, where people are like, "Yeah, should Tom probably hang it up now? Like, should he hang it up?"
Yeah.
All right, like, bro, he didn't win a Super Bowl for 10 years. Like he was eating, like he was going on a tear. That boy was, ooh, he got 3 rings. 10 years go by. People might think, oh, okay, well, listen, he got 3, and that would have been fine. That would have been
Yeah.
more than enough.
If you cut Tom Brady's career in half, both whether it's the beginning of his career, the end of the career, they're both Hall of Fame careers.
They're both Hall of Fame
Yeah.
careers. He could have been
Um
good. He could have been fine. And for him to do that and then go to Tampa
and
and
win
then to
his
do
first
that,
year there,
bro,
yeah, it's
I
unheard of.
mean, that's
It's unheard of. But my goat in terms of like greatest athlete of all time. I mean, I should have kind of did this with you, but I'm gonna kind of break it up in terms of
mm,
individual athletes and team athletes because I feel like you can't really compare an individual athlete and a person that plays on a team. You know what I mean?
mm.
Individually, um, I would say the greatest athlete of all time individually for me has to be a toss up between Serena Williams or Usain Bolt because I mean, I'm leaning towards a little more like I don't know, like Serena's. I don't know if that will ever be replicated. That is honestly unbelievable. And what Usain Bolt did was also just unbelievable. You know, so I feel like that's kind of hard, but those are my two. I can't really give one for those. I feel like that's mine. And in terms of team, I might have to go mm, between Michael Jordan and Tom Brady. It's kind of hard for me to give one. I believe LeBron. I believe when LeBron breaks the all-time points record and kind of goes from there, then kind of maybe we could kind of throw him in there. But I'm just throwing in individual accolades and just team accolades, all that, because we're talking about just of all time. You know, I mean, I might change
Yeah.
if we just decide to talk about basketball only, but we're not. Anyways, but nah, I would have to go between those two for sure. Tom Brady, it'd probably be Tom
I can do
Brady.
that.
It'd probably be Tom
I
Brady
probably the same
because
time. Yeah.
a career like that is just ridiculous. I mean, it just, it don't make sense.
Ain't no
It
way we
don't.
see that anytime soon. Ain't no way.
He almost has. He was 3 rings short from having like 10 rings, like on all his fingers, like having a ring on all his fingers. Like that's ridiculous. Dudes just
Crazy.
hope for one. This dude has 7. He could fit some on the other hand. It's
It's wild.
ridiculous, but kind of
Both
the.
teams. Both teams.
But yeah, that's kind of our last topic in terms of NFL and kind of a little bit about the go talk. And moving on to basketball, our last segment for today, I want to talk about a player that I don't believe gets the recognition he deserves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Darius Garland.
Darius.
Darius Garland
Darius.
has been hooping, and the
Yes.
Cavs have been hooping.
Yeah. Yes.
And it makes me ask you, do you believe Darius Garland is going to be an all star in this league one day?
I do. And low key, he's. I mean, it's tough, but he's borderline an all star now. Just with the numbers he's putting up, I think he's averaging like he's at least like 20. I want to say close to 9 assists.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then the way, I mean, bro, he's just tough, bro. Like he's so quick. His shot release is so quick. His ability to take dudes off the dribble. He's so calm out there. Like his
Yeah,
poise on the court is just unbelievable. Um, I think he's a great leader for that team. It's kind of crazy because I really didn't think that he was gonna emerge like this just because Colin was there
yeah,
in the mix. But no, I definitely see him being an all-star in this league.
yeah. No, that's kind of like, yeah, that's the last thing I want to talk about. But no, I believe Darius Garland deserves some respect. Obviously, we're gonna kind of get into more NBA topics in our next episode. I just had to just say today, even though it was more of an NFL episode, but I had to say Darius Garland deserves more appreciation because what he's
Shout out
doing for the
Darius.
Cavs and what
Shout out
he's doing
Darius. Hey,
individually.
Cavs on the come up.
Yeah,
They about
no,
one, I say one superstar away from.
no, for sure. And they're doing this without really a superstar at all. I'm talking about like a Dame like superstar.
Yep.
Darius Gar I believe could kind of get there, but if they were to have like someone with some veteran presence and I mean they have Kevin Love, don't get me wrong, but
Mm,
I'm talking about someone that you're gonna get 25 plus from every single night.
yep.
That could really take the Cavs to a whole nother level. And I do believe, especially being the Cavs, having a winning record like this and playing well like this, I know means a lot because now they can kind of make their own story. Because
Yep.
when you think of Cleveland, you just think about, oh, LeBron left Cleveland, they're so bad.
Cleveland.
So like now for them to be able to actually have a winning record and doing that without LeBron having anything to do with that, I believe that's honestly
Yeah,
something.
maybe Brown should go back. Maybe you
You
should go
think
back
so?
because it's not looking too good for the Lakers. Maybe you should go back.
You think so?
Maybe you should have stayed. you know.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
just-
nah,
yeah, you should.
I do believe though he did great. That he's doing great. But that kind of does, sum up our, our little our episode. And we're going to be on Twitch next episode. We're going to be live streaming. So tap in and tune in. You know what I'm saying? We might have some little bloopers. He be having bloopers when he be starting, but we might have some bloopers. But tap in. As always, like, subscribe. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're going to be back next week. I'm Josh Raphael, and that is William Young, the 16th. And yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in. But we're out. You guys have a good one.
Sure, yeah, but be easy.